All right, so we're counting down. We have 3 more classes left. Today's class, Wednesday's class, and next Monday's class. The following Wednesday, they do this thing where it becomes the Friday classes. So if you have a Friday class, you're supposed to attend Friday classes next Wednesday. I'm going to cover some of the material that's covered on some of the other professors' final exams so that you know that material too. And basically what you'll have is, what I recommend is studying for exam 1, 2, and 3, putting them together as a final exam, and taking some of the problems off of this new material, which I'm going to hand you out as an in-class assignment so that you get those problems. Now, some of you have asked me for your grades, and I gave you a screenshot of what I have so far, which is probably not that helpful because it's just a bunch of grades. What I usually do is I compile all the grades, and I put in an 80 for your final exam, and I give you a final cumulative score as if you had an 80 on that final exam, with a little cautionary note letting you know that this is just an estimate of your final exam grades. And I should have that to you by Wednesday so that you can look at that list. And how I'll do that, I don't know quite how I'll do that. Maybe I'll print out 1 page per person so that it comes out for each of you separately and I can hand it out to you. Are there any questions about the cut up of the final few days? It'll go very fast, trust me. All right, so I'm going to hand this in-class assignment out so you can see what kind of problems there are. And I took this right off of Dr. Golnavi's first exam. I'm going to show you how to do those problems first. And we're all going to work together on them, and then we're going to go back and look at some more of the problems, so piece by piece. So the first set of problems has to do with putting different, there's 2 pages. Some of the times the stapler doesn't work. So there's 2 functions and you're asked to do a series of things with them. I think you'll be okay simplifying and doing the work for most of them. I have a tip to give you right at the end of this. Don't get started because I want to show you how to do these problems first. The one that I think that might be unusual is the F composed with G. What that means is you're looking for f of g of x. And I've recommended always to students who want to get it right that they do this as a 2-step process. So step 1 is to plug the letter g in for x in f of x. Like so. Please don't work on the in-class assignments or else I'll have to take them back. Please pay attention. Okay, so the g in this case, if we look back, was minus x squared plus 5. You would substitute then, instead of g, minus x squared plus 5. And then I ask you to simplify it. Like so. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. The biggest mistake I see, I mean, these are supposed to be the easy problems that everybody's supposed to get right. and then somebody will blow past it. The mistake I always see is that there's no parenthesis around this, and so the simplified answer doesn't turn out to be the right thing. So just remember, that's why I ask you to put G in there first as a two-step process so you don't make a mistake. It's not about not knowing how to do things. It's more about, please don't use your cell phones. Please put your cell phones away. So how come I have to ask you to do these things now at the end of the semester? I want your rapt attention. Sure. So it's not about not knowing how to do this. Everybody in this class is capable of knowing how to do this. Everybody in here is smart enough to know how to do this. It's not making a mistake as you do this, because this is the one you want full points on. It's too easy. Agree? You know how long it took her to smile this semester? She didn't smile at all for, I think, 4 weeks. You two didn't smile that much either. You're like, what is this stuff you're giving us? I saw you again this morning. Mm-hmm. You had your head down. You're like, Sandra? Right, so it's given to you. If you look at the top of your in-class assignment, there's an F and G given to you there too. So you follow the same process. If they asked you for G circle F, you would plug in the F into G. If they asked you for F circle G, you would plug in the G in for F, for the X.
You just do that.
If they ask you the other way around, right? If they say F circle G, that means do these steps. You put the G in for the X. Got it? Okay, any other questions? All right, I think the other questions I ask you are fairly simple. I ask you about F plus G, that's obvious. You would take the two pieces and add them. G divided by F, you would take the G and divide it by the F. The only tip I have for you on your in-class assignment is you have this funky looking G of X, is that correct? A 2 is in there too, right? All right, rewrite this in terms of laws of exponent. What is square root of X if you had to write it as a fractional exponent? That's right, X to the power 1/2. And now you're able to take, this is the X to the 1/2 divided by a X to the 1. What can you do with that? There's 2 pages. You get 2 pages? The first page? What can you do? Do you see a b to the m divided by b to the n? What are you supposed to do when you have m divided by n? X to the m divided by x to the n? Subtract the exponents. So this is really x to the 1/2 minus 1, and that 2 stays there in the bottom. It doesn't go anywhere. For those of you taking calculus, it doesn't go anywhere. These kind of problems show up all the time in Calc 1, and people with a weak pre-calc background, that 2 goes somewhere. But that's not you, right? You're from the strong pre-calc background. And by the way, I like to pull out my fractions like so. Instead of having a divide, it's just easier to deal with it. So this is really what you're dealing with. You're not really dealing with this particular expression, you're dealing with this one. It makes the math a little easier to simplify when you're doing the math. So I'm going to stop the lecture part now, and I'm going to have you go through numbers 1, parts A, B. Do we have somebody missing a first page on this?
I was.
You took it from somebody else?
No, I grabbed it before I handed it back. I have to see it back.
I think, yeah, A, B, and C. So you'll need to know this for A, B, and C.
So what if we...
Oh, you can kick it downstairs if you want. Is that what
okay.
you could write this if you wanted to, and You don't like negative exponents, that's this thing.
Okay.
A number of you are taking calculus. It's not that far away. The winter break is not as long as the summer break. So if you're taking calculus next, I can tell you the uh-ohs I do when students come into the classroom. We have students who come in and they're going to be there. The gunners that have their high school freshmen, they're in high school and they're taking it for extra credit in their course. That you have those guys sitting in there with you, and then you have a wide breadth of students sitting with you. A couple uh-ohs. If that 2 goes somewhere, that's a uh-oh. I look at it and go, uh-oh, we're going to have trouble with this student. If this -1/2 doesn't go down like this, or became a minus that pulled out in the front, or they did something with that minus exponent, I think, uh-oh, they don't know their laws of exponents. They're going to be in trouble here. So don't make your professor go, uh-oh. It's not me, right? It's going to be somebody else. So make them know that you're perfect, that you're the best.